Hi, everyone, and welcome to Series 2 of Cocoon from Dharana Digital. And this is the first episode of Series 2. And the focus and the theme for this new series is about AI in the wellness space. And we're so lucky to have our very first guest, Megan Knight from Natural Surrender, to join us as we kick off our new series. So welcome, Megan. Thank you so much for being our first guest.
Welcome. Thank you for having me.
No problem. And let's first talk about what is natural surrender. Can you explain that to everyone?
Sure. So the tagline, I can hear echo, is that right?
I can hear you okay.
Okay. All right. So the tagline for Natural Surrender is your directory for living naturally. So it's about how all businesses need to be seen, noticed, and found in the vast expanse of the marketplace. So, of course, also true for providers of services and products that align with living naturally. So with your directory for living naturally, it's a membership site for providing living naturally services and products, offering a curated space where businesses can thrive. So it's not just about visibility. It's about creating a community-driven ecosystem where we can all be found in one place in a way that our individual actions create a collaborative effect. So we're looking at mutual growth and support as our businesses flourish best when they're not focused on competition, but instead focused on collaboration and collective progress. And this version of Natural Surrender, because we've been around for a while, is especially committed to filling the gap for those within the public arena who've fallen through the cracks and finding solutions to health challenges and wanting a life worth living. So I'm trying to create something where, because something where we're together, where we can all be found easily, but also because together we can do a whole lot more than we can individually.
Absolutely. The sum is much greater than like the individual of the parts. Yeah. Now, I wanted to find out, how did you begin working in the wellness space? Tell me about your career journey.
Well, that's been an organic thing, excuse the pun. Just general life. I mean, I still experience surprise when I say out loud that I didn't really give any focus to my health until I had children. Though I do remember being about 17 years old, first moved out of home, doing my own shopping, things like that. I mean, I knew margarine was something I was not going to put in my body. So obviously I had some sense going on in there. But yeah, just those normal aspects of life. So having children, so therefore deeper thought required with food. At that time, I hope they don't do it now, possibly they do, battles with toddlers at the checkout because you have to wait in a queue and they just stack it up with lollies either side, which is just so mean. And then, when my children were high school age, there was some friends who were eagerly swapping their junk food lunches for my kids' healthy food. And my kids were great. Yeah, I'll have your junk food lunch. Get it. So all that's led to, shopping at specialty stores. So, I tend to go to fruit and veg, whole food stores, and really going to the supermarket for batteries.
Yeah.
So it's just, I just don't find what I found there. So I just, the fact that something can be seen as healthy and that everyone around me understands that something may be unhealthy, it doesn't seem to stop the market being able to put it out there. And so, yeah, therefore, I think I'm trying to create a place where we can come to a one-stop shop and find good information on what we need to be eating, what we need to be doing about our health, etc.
Excellent. And so, look, from my work with people working in the wellness space, wellness professionals, I often find that they're givers. So they're always sort of looking out for the health and well-being of other people and often forget themselves to their own detriment. What do you do to maintain your energy levels, to fill your own cup before you go and help other people?
Okay, so that's a big question for me, and we're heading deep already into the extra motivation I now have and further defining natural surrender. So I actually suffered a chemical poisoning in a part-time workplace years ago from long low-level exposure to a sanitizing cleaning product. I never used it, but I unknowingly inhaled it over a 5-year period. So I actually have a disability label since 2015. And I've got a number of diagnoses of multiple chemical sensitivity, myalgic encephalomyelitis, which is what chronic fatigue used to be called, SIBO, so that's gut issues. And recently I was also diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome. So, it shows up sometimes, but not others, but you can see there's rashes on my face and things like that. So, yeah, I'm having quite a journey in discovering more about what I've got to do to get myself back up there. But because of the fatigue side of things, I have everything I do is measured against that could affect my fatigue and sensitivity levels. So evening events are quite challenging, as are gatherings where everyone stands all the time, because I can actually faint from that type of exertion.
Oh, wow.
I never thought I was the type of person that could faint, but I was a research subject through UniSC because the government's now put money into investigating myalgic encephalomyelitis, the chronic fatigue side. And they tested me, and I failed a standing test. I couldn't successfully stand for 20 minutes. So, I have to think a lot about what I'm doing, how I'm doing it, where I'm using my energy, where I'm getting the rest in, and things like that. So, it's, I need to also ensure that I get that balance in life, that I get some sunshine in and walks in during the week, that I get rest time in on the weekend. And then I do have various supplements and routines that are weaved through my day within what I'm drinking and eating. I use an oxygen concentrator, just designed for the general population to enhance work and study, and do that whenever I can. And then as we're talking about AI, that's where AI can help me with that, because it can really bring in those get things done faster for me sometimes. I can write scrappy notes and say, AI, can you help me put this together? And then, of course, I would edit again and just take a look over it. But, anything that I can use like that to minimize the time spent. I know when I write things myself, I can spend hours just trying to get it right. I can really help me with that. So that's a great energy saver in that side of things as well.
Well, that's a nice segue into the next question, because I was going to ask you, the last couple of years, AI has been around since the 50s. Like it's been around a long time, but the last couple of years, it's really ramped up in being more accessible to the wider population. How do you feel about this evolution, AI evolution, and do you think it has a place in the wellness industry?
In my humble opinion, absolutely everything is a double-edged sword. And if we use it one way, it works for us for good. And if we use it the other way, it works for us for evil. So, with that side of things, you can talk about love as a double-edged sword, but also AI is a double-edged sword. And we're finding out very quickly the evil ways AI can be used, as I mentioned on the promo with the deepfake Taylor Swift incident, for example. But it does have great relevance when it comes to the way it can be used. So, yes, I do believe it has a place. But again, we must put it in the right place. We must not just become reliant on it. It must have the correct place, and then it can be used in all the positive ways.
Yeah. And you mentioned one of the ways that you're using it. Are you using it in any other ways in your wellness business?
Yep. So I've been taught that AI is a first draft tool. So I can't get lazy and ask AI to do it all for me, because it's certainly not perfect. And health is a very multi-layered subject, and something that works fabulously for one person might not work at all for another person. So in doing research, I can't always use AI in doing the research first up and doing the research for me. I tested it once and once only, and then I lost hours trying to verify the claims that AI had come up with. But where it really works for me is if I go and grab some bits of research, and then I can utilize AI to collate that information into a format I can use. So that is, like that's the part where if that was up to me, that could take me hours, whereas AI really helps me put it together. And then I do that last edit on it. So I love that side of things. I mean, for your directory for Living Naturally, it's an online directory. So social media posts and blogs are a major part of what I do. So it's helpful for me in just making the social media text a little more exciting, planning where I post where, and other marketing aspects, filling out who my ideal customer is, putting together a business plan, various business strategies. The great and good possibilities are endless. And I learned all this through WIRE, which is Women in Rural, Regional and Remote Entrepreneurship, created by Retha Wiesner. And because with my health challenges, I'd been out of the loop for about 8 years. And I thought, how do I catch up? How do I know? 8 years ago for me, Facebook was just practically just a fun thing. It didn't have any bearing on a business, so to speak. So I needed to know how to catch up. So that course was really good and just took me through all the ways that we can apply it. We, as well as the business models, the marketing plans, we did market fit, identification of pain points, my unique value proposition, cost benefit analysis, SWOT analysis, SEO, digital marketing plans. So, AI is not something that's going to do it all for me. I've got to put that information in and train AI as to what I'm doing, what natural surrender is about, et cetera, et cetera. And so, therefore, AI takes some training. If it does falter, it can be because I haven't given it enough information for it to come back with an answer that I can fully use. But yes, I just find it fascinating, and I find it that I've got to learn and keep reminding myself of all the ways I can use AI. I've caught myself a few times labouring away at something and then realised I could have used AI's assistance to do the task much quicker. Yeah. And I did ask some associates around me what they're using it for. So, and I've just got a bit of feedback from them, which I thought was interesting. Yeah. Shane Gregory from SunMed in Noosaville, he's a Natural Surrender Directory member, and he's said that we use it to, we use it to streamline operating systems, create marketing plans, write SEO blogs, market research, proofread and summarize research, and a whole bunch of other fun stuff. Luke from Marketing Broker, who's also the co-owner of Matters Magazine and a Natural Surrender Directory member. We're both in a group called Noosa Business Connect, and that group has their own website. And what he offered is that we've got an AI chatbot on the MBC website to answer simple queries. And then another person from that group who's not in health and wellness, but he's in financial wellness, I presume, he said something interesting too, which is I use it to write concise file notes and to simplify complex emails to clients. So I thought that was really fascinating. That was something that I hadn't thought of as well. And then I've just got onto an app called Pi, P-I. It was recommended, so I just check it out. It's a personal assistance AI that I can just have a chat with and see what it can bring up. And so as I'm on this low histamine diet at the moment, I asked Pi for some recipes, and it came up with some really good ones. Good. Now, it did make some blunders. It talked about, strawberries and banana at one stage, which when you're on a low histamine diet, you can't do. But again, that's the training of AI. So I was able to just say, no, I can't do strawberries and bananas. And now that knows that, and Pi will not bring up that mistake again. So again, that's just the training aspect of it's a machine, it's filtering data, and it's helping us to get to the data that we really want. I know with one blog that I did was on, I can't remember the actual subject matter, but it was more deep spirituality type stuff. And so I thought, I don't think AI is going to be any good at this stuff. But yeah, it was really helpful.
Yeah.
So it's just got an unending way of amount of things that it can do, and we've got to get in and do it. But again, it's just that it is a first draft tool, or for me with research, it's in I can just put in bits and bobs of information, and then it helps me format that into an easy read.
Yeah. And what tools are you using? What AI tools are you?
I mostly just ChatGPT. You've told me about a couple of others, Perplexity.
Perplexity. That's a good one for research. Perplexity.
And what's the Google one?
There's Google Gemini.
Gemini, yeah. So I have that in my calendar. I have that on my to-do list. Like I must check that. If I said it must be worth looking at. But I have to admit I haven't really done it yet. So I've just gone from the free ChatGPT to the paid version.
Yeah.
There is an advantage to paying for it. And I'm still just training myself to look at it more often, because it is helpful. And until you get to know, it's like the laptop, you can't learn everything about computers.
No.
Because you're going to apply so much. So you learn what you learn and use that, and then you find out there's something else you need to know. So AI is something I think that you need to stay in touch with and keep using and keep practicing and finding out the ways that it can work.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you mentioned social media as well, and that you use it to help draft posts and things. So, I mean, now it's really, there was a time where social media was just like, if you wanted to do it, you did it. But now it's crucial. Like, it's really crucial to have some sort of presence there for your wellness business, not only to promote and try and attract new clients or customers, but to just maintain relationships with those who already are connected with. And people go there to look you up. So they might go to the website, but they'll also check you out on social. So you need to have that sort of presence. But it's sort of, it can be quite addictive, and it can take a long time to do it. And I don't know, sometimes if you've been in the trap of posting something you think's really good and then keep going and checking to see what people would, are they responding to it? What's going on? And so that sort of flies in the face of wellness, doesn't it? So you don't want to be connected to your phone the whole time. So how do you navigate using social media to promote your wellness business and maintain relationships with your clients while also maintaining your own wellness?
Sure. So, well, number one, I'm learning to schedule at last. There was a few people on Wire who were more up to date on the business as it is today than me. And they're like, oh yes, I got that all scheduled. And so I'm finally learning to schedule. So I can get all my social media posts set for the whole month within the first half of the month, and around all the other tasks of business and life, of course. And I'm only new at scheduling, so I'm not sure if that's a great time frame or not, but it does leave me free to concentrate on other bigger tasks that are hanging around on my to-do list. Those ones that take a day or a few days or a week to finalize. So for me, that's huge, because they've been hanging there for a while. I learned all about them during the Wire course, and they've just been hanging there. So it's great to get those off the list. So and a major aspect of how I'm operating is online. So the fact that that's ticking along without me is a huge relief. I'm still just learning, because there's certain things that come up. You don't want to inundate people with your social media and be continually in their face. So you do need to figure out your times to do that. So when those things that come up that are on the moment, let's post that today. I'm still working out how to work those in there. But that just allows me, I'm starting to get some routines down, and the scheduling just allows me to have the free time. That is one of the wonderful advantages of working for yourself. The disadvantage is that you've got to do a lot of it until you can afford to get other people to help you with it. The advantage is that you can put your life in around the work. So it's not just, I know when I work full time, your life happened around your full-time work, your full-time job. You have to be there that 40 hours a week, 5 days a week. Whereas this, I can play with it, and I go, okay, I've got something coming up. I want to be out of the house on that particular day, so I can work differently and make sure that I clear that time without losing anything that needs to be done. So I really like that side of things, and that creates that balance for me, and that I can, like this weekend, I spent most of the time at home because I'd had a couple of events, a fundraiser on the Friday and a business meeting down in Cotton Tree on the Thursday. And going home on the Thursday, there was a lunch on, a social thing. And I thought, well, I'm going right past at that hour. So I stopped and had lunch. So I really appreciate that side of things. And I think it's really good in creating that balance. But yeah, that scheduling and helping, getting AI to help me figure out what I'm putting out where. AI can sort out schedules for me. And I'm still learning that side of things and how to use it as well as I could. But yeah, it all just helps create that balance.
True. And when you do schedule your posts, how often are you checking your social media? Do you check it every day or every few days?
Yeah, well, what I do in the morning, I do what I call my quick flick over my morning pot of tea. So that allows me to spend quite a while with my pot of tea, which I love. Yeah. So I check all my social media, emails, etc. at that point, and where the emails are concerned, sort that into what's a quick read, what needs to be read before moving on, what needs my attention later in the day, and then I can flag them all accordingly. So it also means that when I get focused on the day ahead, I'll have a short list of what I need to focus on, which may or may not involve social media at that point, but I know what I need to achieve. Sorry. If it does involve social media, it can be arranging a get-together with someone who's been contacting me through social media, answering a question, or getting involved in a discussion on LinkedIn that's important to my business, and similar tasks that take a little bit more time, require more careful thought, etc. So, my nose is in the social media morning and night, and then in the middle, it's focusing on what actually needs to be done to make sure that all the social media output is there, plus get those other jobs done.
Yeah, that sounds like a good strategy. And I wanted to ask too, do you have a story of an inspirational breakthrough or transformation that you've had with a client without, divulging their, confidentiality or anything like that? But do you have any transformational stories you could share?
Yeah, sure. So I'm not a practitioner dealing with a client for wellness purposes, like most of my members are, but I am the steward and facilitator of the Natural Surrender Directory. And that's like I said, that community-driven ecosystem where many practitioners can be found all in one place, in a way that our individual actions create that collaborative effect. So from that perspective, I'll share with you a Google review from Kate Martinier. I had to go back to something that she'd done through the Wire program and figure out how to say her name correctly. Kate Martinier, and she wrote this directly before joining the directory with her business, which is called A Real Green Life, and I found it very humbling. So Kate wrote, and it's up as a Google review. She wrote that after a bit more of a look around your website, I just want to say I love what you're doing and your philosophy. I feel such a surge of hope and optimism when I come across presences like yours in the world. Also, I think your membership listing prices are so reasonable. I hope this venture turns out to be everything you want to be and more. And also 2 other people have actually thanked me for putting the Natural Surrender Directory together. So it's just such a lovely feeling when people truly doing and see the big picture of it all. So yeah, it was really humbling, that review. It was lovely.
It's beautiful. Now we're not at the end of 2024, but we're on the home straight now. Like we're heading into September. So what were your key goals? I mean, from doing this podcast, there is sort of a whole spectrum of goal setting. So some people are like, they're very focused and set their goals at the beginning of the year. Some people are like, no, I like to see how things unfold. What camp are you in? And if you are a goal setter, what were your goals for this year, and are you on track to achieve them?
Yeah, well, this, like I say, Natural Surrender has been around for quite some time, but not in this format. I knew a long time ago it was going to be a directory, and I was originally selected natural products. So the transition happened over a number of years, and where we are today with the directory has only really been out there a bit over a year. So our key goals at this point are simply getting the directory out there more, adding members, gathering more visitors to our community. So because we started from the Sunshine Coast of Queensland, Australia, we do have members also now in New South Wales, Victoria and WA, plus customers for our most popular product, the original Australian leather seal, comes from all these states, plus Tasmania and New Zealand. So we're starting to get that reach out there, but it is our aim to eventually be worldwide. So yeah, we're going to do another membership drive in September. So for the last time, we will have a free first 12 months membership available for the month of September. So that's what we're gathering on. We probably will do something free membership so that people can try it out if they'd like to, but it probably won't go for the entire 12 months. So this September, that will be our last time with the 12-month offer. Yeah, so yeah, it's just growing, getting ourselves out there. I mean, everything's growing nicely, and I'm still learning to comprehend what Google Search Console is telling me.
Yeah,
so you know, the numbers are increasing. We've got tracking on all the members' profiles, etc., so we can see there that people are coming through and actually looking at that. We send out a monthly newsletter, those sort of things. So yeah, it's more just spreading our wings and getting people to know about us is the main goal at this point of the game.
Yep, excellent. So I have one final question for you, and my question is, what do you wish you knew at the beginning of your career? So if you could go back in time and give yourself a piece of advice when you were just beginning, what would it be?
It would be to know what question to ask. I learned very early on that if I had a challenge, the answer could be impossible to find unless I could articulate the question properly. So I still remember the aha moment this years ago in a drawn out session of multiple phone calls with my phone company at the time. Who hasn't had that experience? And as frustrating as each call was, I eventually just stumbled on the right question, and the answer I needed just instantly appeared. They just came out with it. Like I'd been trying to draw it out of them and draw it out of them, and then I just got the question right and the answer appeared. So I'm a Christian also, and that's taught me about suddenlies, and it's usually a long road to something that seems to happen overnight or suddenly. But in this particular example that I'm referring to, when I suddenly had what I needed, all the frustration just melted away. So it's about, that was my first lesson in business, is I need to know what question I need to ask.
Yeah.
So look at the problem well enough, give it enough time, and discern what the question really is, because then you'll get the answer.
Excellent advice. That is very true. And I think even with now with AI, it can help you to articulate that question too.
Yes. Again, still learning how to use AI. So yeah. And that is something with AI, to just go there and put a question in and see what comes up, or to put the problem in and say, what can you suggest, and see what comes up, because it'll give you multiple points on things you can do, and that can help you formulate that question and get to that answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a nice way to end. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode?
Just keep AI in mind, and keep opening it up, and just thinking, how can I apply it to what I'm doing today? Because it's that practice, it's it becoming part of what I do normally, not some addition that I'm going to add sometimes, but making it part of what I do every day and finding out the ways it can help. Because I mean, I am, as a business owner, you are a business steward, I would like to say, instead of owner, it's up to me until I can make enough money to employ people. So that help is there, and it doesn't cost me any more than, I think I'm paying $35 a month for the paid version. So in fact, it's not even $35, it's just under. So yeah, just keep practicing, keep opening it up, and keep practice using it, and find out all the ways that it can work for you.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Megan, and thanks to everyone for watching. And we'll be back next month with episode 2. So thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for having me.